The modern office, whether it exists in a glass tower or inside a browser tab, is the ultimate training ground for the Stoic mind. Deadlines compress time, notifications fracture attention, and performance metrics quietly reshape identity. Many people experience work as a constant low-grade emergency. But the Stoic perspective begins with a simple reframe. Most workplace stress is not created by the task itself, but by the meaning we attach to it. What looks like urgency is often expectation layered on uncertainty. Someone else wants reassurance. A timeline slipped. A decision was delayed. The Stoic learns to see urgency as information, not a command. This creates distance between signal and reaction, the space where professionalism lives. To handle workplace stress, Stoicism applies what can be called the discipline of action. Your responsibility is the quality of your effort, not the guarantee of the result. You prepare thoroughly, communicate clearly, execute carefully, and then you release ownership of everything that depends on other people, market forces, timing, or chance. This is not indifference to success. It is independence from psychological volatility. When a project succeeds, you remain steady. When it fails, you remain steady. The emotional amplitude decreases, but effectiveness increases, because your attention stays on execution rather than anticipation. The challenge is that modern work environments constantly pull attention toward outcomes, promotions, visibility, metrics, recognition. This activates what we can call the social ego, a part of the mind that measures worth through perception. You begin to monitor how quickly you reply, how you appear in meetings, how your status compares to others. Over time, perception becomes a second job running in the background. Stoic practice interrupts this loop. Instead of asking, "How am I being seen?" you return to, "What is the right action here?" This question simplifies complexity. Every email becomes a small ethical decision. Be clear, be honest, be useful. Every meeting becomes a test of presence. Listen, contribute, don't perform unnecessarily. The Roman emperor-philosopher Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself that praise and criticism are both temporary noises. Applause fades quickly, and so does disapproval. If your motivation depends on either, your stability becomes fragile. But when the motivation shifts toward the work itself, craftsmanship, usefulness, integrity, stress loses much of its leverage. This is where the idea of becoming a scout in the workplace becomes powerful. A scout observes before reacting. You notice tension in a meeting, but you don't absorb it automatically. You see gossip, but you don't participate reflexively. You witness panic cycles, rushed messages, last-minute escalations, and instead of synchronizing emotionally, you anchor operationally. Observation without absorption is a core Stoic skill. Another key concept is role ethics, strongly emphasized by Epictetus. Your job title is temporary, but while you occupy that role, it carries responsibilities. The Stoic question is not, "Do I like this task?" but "What does my role require right now?" Sometimes the answer is precision. Sometimes it is speed. Sometimes it is accountability, the willingness to say, "This was my mistake." This removes drama from responsibility. Admitting an error stops being a threat to identity and becomes part of professional excellence. The workplace transforms from a stage where you defend your image into a training environment where you refine your character. When crises happen, missed deadlines, unhappy clients, conflicting priorities, the Stoic does not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but "Which virtue is being requested?" Patience when delays occur. Courage when a difficult conversation is necessary. Discipline when motivation drops. Justice when decisions affect others. Every stressful moment becomes a targeted exercise. This shift also clarifies ownership. Your employer does not own your identity. Your company coordinates your responsibilities and compensates your time. But your attention, your standards, and your judgment remain yours unless you hand them over? Burnout often emerges not from workload alone, but from the silent belief that work defines worth. Stoicism breaks that equation. You can care deeply about doing good work while refusing to derive self-value from productivity metrics. You can pursue advancement while remaining psychologically intact if it doesn't happen immediately. Ambition becomes directional rather than existential. Over time, this produces a different kind of professional presence. You become reliable in volatility. Others may fluctuate: excitement, frustration, urgency, but your baseline remains steady. This steadiness is often misinterpreted as detachment when it is actually clarity. Stillness is operational power. It allows better decisions because panic narrows thinking. It improves communication because defensiveness decreases listening. It builds trust because consistency is rare in high-pressure environments. And internally, it protects energy. You stop running two parallel jobs, the work itself and the constant evaluation of yourself doing the work. To exit the cave of professional burnout is not to escape work, but to change the relationship with it. Work becomes a domain of practice rather than a verdict on your value. You measure success by alignment with your standards. Did I act with integrity? Did I focus on what I control? Did I leave situations clearer than I found them? If the answer is yes, the day is successful, regardless of applause, outcomes, or recognition. The most radical professional move is not working harder than everyone else. It is remaining composed when volatility spreads. Calm is not passivity. It is control over where your energy goes. And in an environment built on reaction, that control is rare. That rarity becomes your advantage.